We are here because we are dedicated to helping members of our community build lean, strong bodies and confident, resilient minds. Determined to elevate the lives of working professionals, stay-at-home parents, and anyone who is ready to level up their life. Our invigorating group fitness classes, practical nutrition programs, and authentic coaches help ignite your life. Find a place that believes in you. Find a place that challenges you. Find CrossFit Southpaw. Welcome back to episode 16 of the Southpaw Spotlight podcast. We are here with Walter Morris. He's our resident firefighting expert at Southpaw and also one of our athletes there. And I wanted to bring him on the podcast today just to talk about a little bit more about his life, experience training, and kind of his take on CrossFit and what he does. Thanks for joining us, Walter.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about your life. I know you got Zella, work, Sarah, all this stuff going on. Tell me, the elevator pitch of who you are, what you do.
So first and foremost, my daughter Zella's 4 years old. She's in gymnastics, just learning, but a ball of energy. So she's at the gym quite a bit. The little kids area that you've got set up is kind of her spot to go, with the exception of videos on the bench. But so she likes that, and then she likes the fact that she, after class, gets to swing on the rings or jump up and do something or run back and forth in the gym, anything like that. So it's kind of a neat touch that Southpaw has that other CrossFit gyms I've been at in the past don't have. Sarah, the girlfriend of a little over a year now, she's big into CrossFit as well. So that's actually how we met. And then it's obviously a common hobby between the two of us. So it's a nice place to go and kind of a cheap date at the end of the day. And then, yes, I am a duty crew firefighter for Lake Johanna, a volunteer firefighter for SBM, and then a fire inspector Monday through Friday during the day for the city of Spring Lake Park.
Awesome. See, you stay busy. I think there's a lot of different tangents we could go just off of that. But one thing I wanted to ask, I wasn't planning on going down this road necessarily, but mentioned that you and Sarah get to see each other at the gym. It's a nice way to connect sometimes, especially with both of you running around, busy, kids, jobs, all of that. Tell me a little bit more about how Southpaw, just CrossFit in general, has helped strengthen your relationship, or how it's played into your relationship.
Yeah, it's kind of a common bond. It's nice because not everybody has. Most like high school athletes, maybe some college, you have just a general competitive sense about you. So it's fun to go, and she's, you put a bunch of weight on a bar, hopefully I win. But then she's always, it's funny because I don't know we're racing until the last round, and all of a sudden I see a smirk or something from her. So it's a fun way to just spend time. And again, it's something we enjoy doing. Some couples go to the movies and dinner. We do that as well, but a couple nights a week, we'll go to the gym, then make dinner. And that's kind of our date night. And then with the 24-hour access on the weekends, if we're bored and we don't feel like working out in the garage gym, we have access to the gym. We can go together, and she can do whatever she wants off to one side. I can do whatever I want off to one side. And it's fun. It harbors some competition in the relationship. So
yeah.
It's been interesting.
And I'm sure kind of a shared bond too. I know, Kelly and I, now we both have, people that know both of us, that we both know, we can talk about the workout that day or stuff that's coming up, talk about our thoughts about it and everything. And it gives us this kind of common language that we can use. I would say in a sense, it kind of deepens the relationship in that way.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a success of relationships.
Yeah.
Many shared interests you have.
And on top of that, it's nice to have a partner who works out too. So
yeah.
From a physical standpoint, but yeah, so that brings me to another thing I was thinking about too, because both you and Sarah are extremely busy. And especially you with, the different hours when you're on call, not on call. So it's not always possible to make classes. So I know you guys utilize a 24-hour access, which is awesome. You also train in your garage, which is great too. And what have you noticed about that balance of kind of training at home and training at the gym, that's either positive or negative, or just tell me a little bit about that flow that you guys have?
It's nice to have the flexibility. I mean, because there's times where Sarah's perfectly content hopping on a treadmill and jogging, and I cannot stand stationary cardio. So it gives us a flexibility that, all right, you're going to go do your cardio in the gym. I'm either going to go to the station, I'm going to go to Southpaw, something else. Or it's nice to have all the different avenues. The garage gym is great for 9 o'clock at night. We're doing 75 days hard right now. And the 245 workouts in a day, some days
Gets tough.
Gymnastics is at 7, so I didn't have time between work, get Zella, get her fed, gymnastics. I didn't have time to get that second workout in. So now you can run out to the garage quick, or if it's a gym, we can go there and Zella can go crazy, run, play, have fun, swing them. I'll set up a set of rings for her. You go crazy over here. Just the different avenues. It's very flexible for both of our schedules as far as that goes, because between the two of us, we've got 5 jobs.
Yeah.
We definitely we do keep busy in that aspect. So,
well, I think that's draws to a good point of kind of the avatar of people who go to CrossFit gyms are people who are. I was talking about this with Kelly yesterday, actually, Parkinsons Law, that the amount of time a task takes fills to expand the amount of time that you have, right? And if you stay busy, you get things done, right? There's a point where you can be too busy and you can lose that balance kind of, but if you want to get things done, and I think CrossFit tends to attract people who are high performers, for lack of a better word. They're showing up in leadership roles in their communities, in their jobs, and then they keep getting after it. And they know that they don't want to spend a ton of time thinking about what they're going to do for their workout or what kind of equipment they need. And to your point too about, you have the gym at your work, gym at home, gym at Southpaw. It's not necessarily about access, right? If it was just about access, many more people would be in shape or have a strong fitness routine. It's more about finding something that really resonates with you, that you enjoy, whether it's to deepen an emotional connection, to stick to a plan, to have the accountability of coaches or other people in the group.
Well, so that's one of my favorite things about CrossFit in general. I'm competitive. I don't like to lose at anything. It can be a game of Uno. It can be a physical race. It can be a discussion with somebody at work that I've cited them for something, and I've done my research, and I'm coming with everything I've got up front. I'm not gonna kind of passively come through and chance missing something. And CrossFit does a great job at that, because I might have a better clean than somebody. But if we get on the wrong, if I against Paul Darda in a gymnastics movement, I'm going to work like a dog to try to beat him, even though I know realistically he's probably going to get me. But I'm going to sit there and I'm going to trash talk with him the whole time, try to get in his head, waste a little bit of time here or there. So it does that for me tenfold when it comes to tapping into the competitive nature and giving me an outlet for that.
Kind of helps you find that next gear. I think it isn't always good to go all out, right? But there's a time and place where to elicit a physiological change, the difference between 9 reps and 10 reps can be huge. Getting or between 5 minutes and 4:45 can be a big difference in terms of how your body processes that, and being able to dig into that well can really produce some incredible results, whether it's strength, cardiovascular, whatever it happens to be. And having that, being able to dose it properly, a couple times a week can be a game changer.
Oh yeah. Well, and then the best part about classes for me is if say the workout's perfect for you and you're ahead, well, then you've got a coach that'll come up and, hey, why are you putting the bar down? Go. You've got, no matter how good you're doing, you've got somebody watching you. Hey, why are you resting right now? I think we had that assault bike and clean workout not that long. and I got off the assault bike and I was by myself on the bar, and you come up, don't put the bar down, go. I was like, I'm
Couldn't have been me.
tired, my chest hurts. But you got somebody right there pushing you. So yeah, I love the classes are first and foremost the best place to be, because you're with a group of people that are similar to you. They're very like-minded as far as why they're there. They're all competitive to an extent, some more than others. But no matter how good you are, top, bottom, middle, you're scaling it. So we're all finishing around the exact same time. And no matter how good you are, you've always got a coach with an outside perspective who's fresh that can, why'd you do 9 pull-ups instead of just doing all 11? Just get it done. So I enjoyed that with Southpaw. Southpaw really does a good job at meeting everybody's needs and pushing everybody individually, versus I've been at some other gyms where sometimes it's more of, I'm not too worried about him. He's not going to kill himself over in the corner. I got to focus on Susan over here because she's the one I'm giving all. And you guys do a very good job at kind of dividing the attention, dividing the motivation for everybody. So
Appreciate that, man. That's something we talk about a lot as coaches, is that we have this framework of what the workout's going to be, and we have a general intention that we're looking at both on a daily, weekly, and even quarterly level. But within that, each individual is going to be doing their own kind of variation or version of that, and so it's important to us to try to get around. And that means that some days there are going to be people that we're going to push, and that same day there might be someone, a few people that we're trying to restrain a little bit. They're returning from a longer trip or extended time off or whatever it happens to be, or they're just beat up from the week. Their central nervous system's beat down, and we want to kind of save them from themselves in a sense. But I appreciate what you said.
Yeah.
One thing that I've noticed about you during your time at Southpaw is that you've really, you have this competitive edge, and at least in my experience, what's interesting about that, because I'm very similar in nature to that, I have a really hard time dialing back to try to effectively get better, right? Like I have to go a little bit lighter today so I can work on my technique, so that I can get stronger in the long run. Tell me a little bit how that journey's been for you and things that you've noticed.
So that's another one where, again, I passed gyms. And again, I've got an ego. That's not new.
Shocker.
So it's one of those where when you feel like someone's critiquing you just to critique you, I put walls up, and that's a flaw, characteristic flaw of my own.
I think I would say human nature too, to a certain extent.
Yeah. And at Southpaw, the strange thing is you've got coaches who can line up next to you and dust you. Mm-hmm. And that's where, like, first time I worked out with Addison, I got 40 pounds on this guy, and he's out lifting me, and he's laughing and shit talking with me as we're doing. So it's like, all right, time out. Now, all right, you got my attention. There's something to this. I'll just stick with a 225 clean right now and get under it a bunch of times and practice like the rep and a half pauses. Or it's the fact that you get humbled at a point where time out, you can do better than me, and you're smiling and laughing, and yet you only go heavy on a peak of a cycle or during the open or when you need to. You're not necessarily doing a 315 clean and jerk 3 times a month. They're like a peak work. So it's just the realization that a lot of it is being clean under the bar, being clean in your movements, making sure simple things like pushing your knees out as you're coming up from squat. And for the first time in my life, I'm doing I'm tired of wall balls, thrusters, and stuff like that being a weakness of mine because my legs burn.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a ton of goblet squats just to put time under tension on my leg.
Yeah.
Because a weakness of mine. And that's a great thing CrossFit does to you, is most of the time your standard gym, you've got chest day, back day, legs, you just go through the movements. Where with CrossFit, you're focusing on weaknesses. Like, God, my double unders have all of a sudden fallen apart. And I used to be very double unders. Then I lost them for a little bit. And lately I've been focusing on trying to get better, like starting from zero right away. Instead of doing a prep jump and all of that. Just grab the rope and go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just little things like that where the coaches at
Those little
Southpaw,
tweaks.
at pointing out, hey, why don't you just try this? Where in the past I found that some coaches, maybe not intentionally, come across as a little condescending when they are critiquing. I think the coaches at Southpaw do a good job at approaching you and just kind of more making a recommendation.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, your clean is absolutely terrible. Go down to the bar and only do the bar for 100 reps.
Yeah.
Until you guys, little tweaks here and there versus just tearing it apart, even if it is not awful.
I was talking with someone recently about the levels of leadership, and I can't remember all 5 of them right now, but the first one is you're a leader based on title, right? So you have the word coach on your shirt and that makes you a leader. And there's not a lot of buy-in there. People want to know that you care, and also that you've kind of gone through the motions yourself. Like you've been to that place, you've been humbled in a sense and on your own. And I still like it when I get cues during workouts, when I learn more about how I operate, how I move. But that sense of humility, I think, can actually be kind of counterintuitively very empowering. And I think in all areas of our life, it's not possible to do it all at the same time, but we should constantly be looking for that sense of humility, because it means that there's something for us to learn, right? And if we're learning, we're growing and adapting. And the only fault in that sense would be to keep encountering the same problem over and over, whether it's, it doesn't have to be in fitness, but if I keep running up against the same thing, I keep getting my electricity shut off because I don't pay the bill on time. It's like, hey, here's an opportunity for growth, or whatever that happens to be, right? And so I like the idea that, there's always something for us to work on. And it could be for people, at the upper echelons, it's small. It's working on relaxing your face or whatever it is, so that you don't carry the stress there, lowers your heart rate, so there are these little tweaks that we can constantly make. And in my opinion, it's kind of it's a microcosm of what we experience in life, right? And if you can take it at the gym in this setting, when you're around other people, you have coaches there, in this kind of distressed physical state, it makes it so much easier to do it. You're in a boardroom or you're in a meeting with your boss or whatever it happens to be. It just helps develop that resilient mindset.
Agreed. So I 100% agree. I mean, as far as learning to control it when your heart rate's spiked and adrenaline's going, and there's a lot to it that you go back and forth, and just the ability to calm yourself and understand that there's a bigger picture at the back end of this versus just, they're critiquing me again. Yeah. Because they see you could do better. That's hopefully where the critique is coming from at all times, is it's simply to someone better. And again, good coaches at Southpaw do a very good job at that. And that starts with you, and then was Addison and all of the other coaches that are there, between Adam and I butcher all their names, Drew.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, man. I don't know how, when you were talking there, it reminded me of something else I wanted to ask you about, but circling back to Zella, because we both have kids who are around the same age. I know Zella's getting into gymnastics now. Clark just recently has started to be like, I want to work out with you today or whatever. And it's like, it's the coolest thing. He's 5 years old, and I've never I don't ever want him to feel forced to do it. But it's neat seeing how them just watching you and being around you, or seeing what you do, how they pick that up. And have you noticed that Zella does that?
Oh yeah. So and Sarah's actually got some very cute pictures of, she wanted to do wall balls with me one day. So we're doing wall balls together, or kettlebell swings, or the little bench you've got, like all the kids you've got. She'll go and, Dad, can you spot me?
Yeah, isn't that cool?
It's one of those where it's like, yes. And again, when it comes to sports, or I don't want to push her into any one direction. I have what I would love for, gymnastics. Fall in love with gymnastics. Yes, do that. Like, I want her to do the things that I like, but like dance. She's in dance right now, and I'll support that well. But what I do want to instill in her, and I love that Sarah and I have the same general thought around health and fitness, and is you don't have to necessarily be as competitive as me. But working out and being healthy does have to be a minimum standard of living, because there's numerous statistics and studies on health,
mental health,
and
physical health.
and having an outlet. And sometimes you have a crap day, things have gone wrong, and enjoying fitness gives you an avenue where you can just go redline it and take it out somewhere else, so that you don't lose your cool in the middle of a meeting, or take your stress out in a relationship, or it gives you avenues that are healthy.
Totally.
Work through all of that down the road. And I see it in Zella already, and I love it. I got a little tomboy, so it's one of those where I'm so happy with how she turned out. I mean, she's only 4 right now, but just I see me and her every single with her. And it's one of those moments where I was joking at work. They keep giving me grief about Sarah and I, and when a baby's going to be on the way and all of this. And that's neither here nor there on where we're at with that, if that ever happens.
We're going to dive into that, Walter. Here we go. No, I'm kidding.
I got like the perfect tomboy already.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Like, I don't need a son. I got a daughter who is athletic, and she wants to do this stuff. And it's a very, very fun age so far. And I love that she loves being active. She sees that I'm active. She sees that Sarah's active. She'll go out in the garage with Sarah when Sarah's doing cardio, and she'll be dancing around. And I don't know if anybody at Southpaw notices, Sarah will be dancing in the middle of the workout.
Kelly and Sarah are like notorious dancers during the workout.
Yeah. So it's infectious. And now Zella is starting to replicate some of that Sarah's energy, as far as she'll be tired, frustrated, or she'll ask her, can we go to a dance party in the garage? So
that's super cool. Yeah.
So, 100%. Just like Clark. It's one of those where you're not going to force them to, but it's wonderful feeling when they ask for it. It's like, God, don't have to push this on you. You just, you see it and you want it. And she's 4. And I hope that we just keep nurturing that to where it's just a staple in her life as she becomes a teenager and young adult and all of that.
You mentioned about the kind of mental health side of it as well. And when Kelly and I were on our cruise recently, I was just looking around at the passengers one day, and it just kind of hit me from a different angle than I usually see. But so many of them didn't have any type of physical activity in their life whatsoever. And that's a broad generalization on my part, but I feel pretty confident saying that. And I didn't feel judgment at all towards it, but I felt kind of sad. I was just, for me, like the days that I'm able to squeeze in a workout in the mornings, like the rest of the day feels so much better. Or if I work out in the evening, I can relax so much better. And it's just, it takes the weight off of my shoulders in many regards. It helps me wrestle with tough questions or whatever's going on in life. And to me, that's one of the biggest reasons that I work out is it's just a sanity for me. And the world is so fast and so automated and so electronic now that it's nice to have something primal that can just take your attention and zoom you out from everything for a little bit.
Agreed. It's one of those where, with like firefighting, perfect sense, where you get guys that have maybe gotten a little bit complacent as far as their physical well-being. And then you get where you're working and you're overhaul, or you're, it's tough and you see it, they're hurting, but then you try to nurture that and get them to understand that maybe we start doing a little cardio. Maybe we start lifting some weights. Maybe we can do a little bit. And
it's cool because you can kind of lead from the front with that.
Regular basis. There's a handful of guys that, what's up, meat? I was like, I'm okay with that nickname, but it is disappointing at times, because you see a lot of people that it's like, just like, I just went to a physical not that long ago. Doctor looked me in the face and told me that I'm in the morbidly obese category, and that I'm at increased risk for heart disease and all of this. And I was like, God dang, man, I know I'm a little chubby right now, but That's a little harsh. So
Well,
what do
I
you
think
think
those
are,
like BMI indicators and looking at a few numbers on, you know, an antiquated sheet doesn't really tell the whole story. And that's what I love about CrossFit is it's performance based. It says, okay, well, you think you're in shape? Here's a workout. Let's see it, you know, or let's see you move this weight, or let's see you run that mile, or whatever it is. And CrossFitters don't claim to be, nor are they the best at any one of those things. But the goal is to get really good at whatever it happens to be, right? And just as a
yeah,
firefighter, you don't know what's going to happen, what kind of call you're going to be on. Is it going to be a long, extended, you know, you're ripping out drywall from a building, or are you running into a burning building, have to carry someone out, right? Life is like that. We never know what it's going to hit. So I think it's
yeah. So it is. It's what CrossFit's great at, the functional fitness, and you never know what the workout really is. I mean, you can cherry pick. Unfortunately, that does happen from time to time. But for the most part, like you had said earlier, it's nice to just show up and, all right, let's work out. And it's like, oh, devil's presses. Because I mean, and that's one of those movements that I enjoy burpees. I actually do enjoy burpees. I enjoy dumbbell snatches.
I hate devil's press.
But you add them together, and it's like, where am I supposed to breathe?
Yeah.
And so no matter how good you are at anything, it can get made more difficult. You can be an incredible double under person. Do it with a heavy rope. Try triples.
Yeah.
It is. It's very, very fun to have that avenue where it's ever changing, and we'll see what happens now that Mr. Castro's gone. But
Yeah. Be interesting to see.
yeah,
We have
what's really going to happen.
This is interesting because I used to have a very similar mindset on cherry picking, and recently was thinking about it because we had someone ask when we release the workouts, and I said we release them, you know, on Sunday. We talk about them in a weekly brief, so you kind of know what's in them and whatnot. And I was like, you know, honestly, like, especially for those people who want to come in 3 times a week and they're there to have fun and get a good experience, I'm like, I don't really care if they cherry pick. You know, if they're always avoiding one movement, well, maybe we need to talk about how we can modify that movement or something else. But hey, you want to have some fun and you like this movement a lot, and that's going to keep you moving. Awesome. You know, but it's, I don't know if it's me getting older or less competitive or whatever, but I certainly understand both sides of that coin. But at the end of the day, the reason I share that is it's, you know, whether it's CrossFit or yoga or distance running or whatever, I have my beliefs as to what I think is the most effective and what I like personally, but whatever gets you out the door and moving, awesome. Gymnastics class, dance class, whatever. Right. And that's at the end of the day, the message that we're trying to spread is that it's not about, I think if you interview people, I bet 100% of the people or 99.9% of the people will tell you that exercise is good for you. And then there's a reason why they're not doing it, or they can't do it, or whatever. And in reality, I believe it's they haven't found a system that supports them or something they enjoy doing. And if they were to put those in place or develop that attitude of, hey, I'm miserable enough that I need to do something, and I'm going to get that humility to start. That's where the magic happens. And then we just need to dose them and get them something that they truly enjoy, whether that's CrossFit or something else.
Well, another added benefit to CrossFit is the community that it creates. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I try to get 3 classes a week. Mm-hmm. I'd like to be there every day, but unfortunately schedules just don't allow at times.
Busy.
But if all of a sudden, like if I'm there 3 days a week on a regular basis, then all of a sudden I only go once. You have people ask, hey, what's up? Where are you at? Where are you going? Mm-hmm. And so you have the accountability kind of built into the community, mm-hmm. because people notice you're not there. And it's not that they're very good about not being negative or condescending. And
it's not a judgment. It's like
almost
they miss you or they miss seeing you there. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's somebody that notices. Where you stay in your gym, you just scan a card quick and walk through and have a hoodie on or your headphones in or whatever.
Mm-hmm. You're a number.
Basically. Yeah. So it the accountability that's built into it is twofold as far as, for me anyways, because like, mm-hmm. I like to go Jose every time I see him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and I like Dennis
Mm-hmm.
be my dad, and yet I can't ever take a workout easy, because if I'm not going 100 miles an hour, Dennis is going to dust me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you get used to working out with the same people. You get used to, you almost don't want to disappoint them.
Uh-huh.
So it's the community as a whole. It's infectious, and the joke about it being a cult. I mean, in some sense of the word, it kind of is.
I agree. It's
you
not
feel
necessarily a bad one, but
No,
there are elements.
bad, but
Yeah.
because again, where it could get negative is if you're hurting yourself, or you're
Yeah.
being. But that's where Southpaw's got good coaches that kind of rein you in a little bit. They're not going to let you go ahead and just throw 205 on and start snatch there. Like, maybe let's work up to that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't do that, but let's get up there slowly.
Yeah.
So a cult maybe, but an okay cult to be a part of if you're going to be a part of one.
I've accepted that a long time ago. Hey, Walter, thanks so much for taking the time to be on this today, man. Is and anything else that you want to add?
Not off the top of my head. I just to advocate that there's a reason why I think there's a lot of long tenured members of Southpaw so far. It's been open for just over 2 years.
Almost 3 now. Yep.
Okay. So
I guess open, we were closed during quarantine. So technically the doors have been open for probably about 2.
But even quarantine, there's a reason why, and I don't know the numbers, but just knowing the gym and the community, I'm going to make a guess that your numbers didn't go ahead and dramatic, like a lot of gyms lost half or more of their members. I'm going to guess Southpaw didn't see that.
We had close to 98% retention, which
exactly.
was
There's a reason.
A lot more to do with the people there, but yeah, we were very fortunate.
Well, and it's fortunate, yes, but it's the community that you've built that allowed that, because CrossFit is an expensive gym membership in comparison to every other gym out there.
Mm-hmm.
And with how you've run Southpaw and the community that you've created, there's people are staying there for more than just to get that workout in 3 days a week.
Dude.
They're staying because of the camaraderie that's been created, the challenging environment. And so it really is my favorite gym that I've been a part of. And I used to put Allegiance on like this ridiculous platform because it was like the mecca of gyms. And Southpaw's up there. It's there. It just, yeah. So it's an incredible gym to be a part of. There hasn't been one time where I've seen my membership payment come out of my account and I'm like, oh man, should I keep Southpaw or not? I've never once had that thought, where every other CrossFit gym I've gone to every month, am I really seeing enough out of it to justify the cost? I don't feel like I have to justify it, because I'm frustrated if I didn't get into the gym at least 3 days. I'm frustrated if I haven't gotten better at my double unders, or I haven't, and I'm focused so much on that and the group and the camaraderie within the Southpaw community that, so I just would advocate that Southpaw is a very, very good group to be a part of, and a healthy community as far as the balancing the line of competitiveness, kind of yanking each other's chains. So that's it. Not to get that big.
Well, thanks so much, man. That means a lot to me, and it's a lot of what drives me every day. So I really appreciate your time being on this, and we'll connect again soon.
All right. You take care. We'll see you at 4:30.